Good afternoon, everyone. How are we all? Welcome to an emergency live stream as Bitcoin dumps below $69,000. We have dropped pretty fast this afternoon as markets digest a whole wave of things going on, whether it be Epstein, whether it be the geopolitical stuff with potential wars. It feels like something's going on in the background. The market doesn't typically behave this irrationally. Markets typically move and then news is released, but it feels like this week there's not really been a cause for this dump from 89k down 25% since Thursday. Feels a bit irrational, which isn't normal for markets, especially today because we got bullish news about the jobs market, which should be bullish for rate cuts long term. So thought I would jump on, keep everybody sane, hopefully keep everybody rational in a crazy market. And yeah, let's chat through the market. Let's see who's all in. Drop a like on the stream and drop a comment or a question, or just let us know that you are here and sane. Yeah, Jake, it does feel like a few emergencies after emergency. So let's have a look on the zoomed out. Let's look at the weekly. So the week's been a bit of a disaster, to be fair. We fell through this key support level earlier in the week. We are down 13% on the week. But more importantly, in the last 3 weeks, we are down almost 30%. We're now down since the October all-time high, 47%. And to be honest, it doesn't look like it's over yet. It looks like there could be another final flush. Like I said, the weird thing is it's really strange that there's no reason for it. Normally what happens is they release some nonsense story to try and cover up why they're actually dumping the market. Japan gets blamed, the Fed gets blamed, all these different things normally get blamed. Iran gets blamed for like every third market crash. It doesn't really feel like there's any reasons. Maybe drop actually in the comment why you think this is happening, like what's causing this market correction, because there's no real claim for it. There's some nonsense stories going around, but we could talk about them. We can maybe debate the merits of them. Just watching as Polkadot hits 132, Uniswap at 335. That's insane. Chainlink $8. Let's run through the charts anyway. So we cover Bitcoin. We know Bitcoin's down dramatically today. On the weekly, you can see we have kind of broken through some major levels all in one weekly candle. So the 74k top from March 2024 got broken. We have then broke through the 70k level, which was the top from July-August time in 2024 before we actually sold off. This, I'm sure this was Iran actually that caused this one, or was blamed for it. So really the next kind of key level would probably say 59 to 58k. I'm hoping we don't get there. I think we could get some relief, but yeah, 58k looks like the most obvious target on the weekly time frame, which is pretty worrying, to be fair. Another $10,000. I think that would properly wreck sentiment across the market. You probably see Solana down in the $60, XRP maybe 75 cents. That would be pretty brutal for everyone. Let's jump through some news and then we'll cover what you think is causing this sell-off. So Doomer on Twitter says that the Binance fund sold $1 billion instead of buying $1 billion this week. I don't think $1 billion is enough. Let's see what Grok says. Satire. Thought so. Then we've got Capo. So Capo was notoriously bearish. He's saying that he thinks that shorts are really aggressive and we might be reaching a local bottom. Let's see. I mean, I don't know how much trust I place in Capo. He was very bearish through 2023 when the markets pumped. Marty Marty Party. He's pretty good most of the time. He posts some good stuff. But this is quite telling. So this basically shows the liquidation map, and what it normally shows is how much shorts and longs are in the market. Now, when we dump, we clear out shorts, we liquidate them, or people close out their longs, and that's what we've done. So anyone longing in this range here has already been wiped out or has had to close. So now all the shorts are piled up above us. There's $28 billion worth of shorts. If the price moved up to $109,000 right now, it would liquidate $28 billion. There's only $83 million between here and 65k. That's not to say we don't go there. It's just to say that it's less profitable to move that direction. But again, if something is causing this sell-off and it's not purely a leverage flush, then it doesn't really matter about these charts. Jacob King is highlighting that Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial sold $5 million worth of Bitcoin. Again, $5 million is just irrelevant, to be honest. Jacob King, to be fair, let me find... He tweeted last night to say that he thought... Yeah, so this is it here. So Binance has hired Al Tamimi, a UAE-based law firm, to go after ex-users posting about the exchange's potential insolvency. CZ has claimed that people on Twitter are saying that Binance are going bankrupt because of the 10th of October crash are just spreading FUD. But then what I'd be interested in is why would you go after them with lawyers if you thought it was all lies anyway? So, strange one to maybe keep an eye on. This came out earlier. So, job openings came in 700,000 jobs less than expected. 7.2 million expected job openings. There was only 6.5 million. This is bullish for markets. This is bullish for Bitcoin. This is bullish for rate cuts. This gives the Fed the ammunition to go and cut rates. When you combine it with trueflation, we've spoke about this loads on the channel, but let me see if this will open actually. Trueflation was playing up. Yeah, so the Fed's mandates full employment and 2% inflation. We're now at 1% inflation and unemployment starting to tick up. And that unemployment number lags quite a bit because people obviously have what they call severance in the States. They also get paid for a while. You can't just get rid of people instantly. So normally the unemployment rate actually lags. So this is quite a telling statistic because it just means that not only are layoffs accelerating, we're actually not getting any new jobs. And this isn't a surprise. I've been saying this for a year. The Fed is missing this. The Fed is missing the point that AI is going to absolutely destroy the job market over the next 5 years, and their job's to get ahead of it. CoinDesk sharing this, so some more good news for anyone in the UK. Gemini is going to remove itself from UK operations because, well, basically because the UK is a failed state. And yeah, that's the Binance nonsense story. So, again, not a lot happening in the world of crypto to justify this dump. If we look across markets, you can see the S&P 500 down less than 2% today. Not massive. Nasdaq down 2%. Not a huge move. Metals, they're also down today. Silver getting absolutely crushed. It does feel like there is something here that potentially this is a coordinated move by, the kind of banks, JP Morgan, people like that. JP Morgan's net short on silver. They've been trying to control the price of silver for decades at this point. But the premiums and the buy demand for silver still exist. And that's why we keep seeing these volatile moves. I think there's 100 paper claims on silver versus 1 ounce of silver. So, yeah, it could be a banking move. It could be somebody in the banking sector that's in trouble, maybe caused by that silver rally. So it could be Binance. It could be a big bank. I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days because they always have to justify the move. Right, let's have a look at some short-term indicators. Let's look at the RSI. I posted this in CC Pro earlier, so we're still bearish on the weekly 3-day. Let's try and zoom out so that everybody can see it actually. So on the 3-day, you've got RSI low on the 18th of November, a lower low here, so we're still bearish. On the daily, bearish. 12-hour bearish, 8-hour starting to turn up, and the 4-hour still bearish as well. So we're not really seeing any divergences. We did start to see one on Ethereum on the 4-hour. You can see that, I don't know how to move this. You can see here that we've got a low from January, higher low from February, and another higher low. This is on the 4-hour time frame. So Ethereum's starting to show some bullish divergence on the 8-hour as well, and just about on the 12-hour. So, I mean, altcoins, Ethereum, most of the crypto market has been absolutely destroyed. So you would expect some relief bounce in the next 24 hours, especially going into a weekend. All right, let's jump out of the chat. Let's see who is in. Let me know if you can hear the music as well. I don't know if it's too quiet. Yeah, we'll put some music up. Let's see. So Alexander says he's pulling his hair out. Des says the 4-year cycle. Potentially, I think the 4-year cycle was broke. The reason, in fact, we know the 4-year cycle is broke simply because if the 4-year cycle was intact, then last year should have been green. Because the 4-year cycle is 3 green, 1 red, 3 green, 1 red. And by closing in red last year, the 4-year cycle is broken. So I think the 4-year cycle we can discount. But yeah, we've definitely seen some big selling because of people believing in the 4-year cycle, I think. Queen Mick says reversal soon. B Don says good afternoon. And Grant Alexander thinks we're going to dip to 30,000 by the end of the month, which another 50% drawdown from here. Well, I think if that happens, it's going to cause some serious problems in the space. I suppose never say never, but I don't think 30k is on the horizon. I think 58k is a real possibility. Yeah, let's see who's in CC Pro. There's also a lot of stuff circulating. I've not brought up any stories about the whole Epstein thing, but obviously there is a lot of things about Epstein, and I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. I think the things with the whole Epstein thing is there's a lot of rumours, there's a lot of fakes, there's a lot of documents out there, but nobody's been arrested, and that's what I don't understand. And obviously I understand how it all works, they're all powerful people, but right now it feels like Epstein's name's just linked to everyone and anyone, regardless of who they are. There's some crazy stories coming out about Bill Gates. The whole thing about Epstein funded the early code of Bitcoin. To be honest, like, if we looked back, I don't know how, I don't want to belittle the Epstein involvement, but I just don't know, like, does anybody care? Like, if you actually look at who Epstein dealt with and who he was involved with, he probably was involved with most major institutions that we now use or talk to or, like, work with. You look at the links with Meta and CIA and stuff like that. Does it matter day to day? Do people actually pay attention? I don't know. It just seems like a stupid story that's why Bitcoin would sell off, because there's an email linking Epstein to funding the code in the beginning. It seems crazy to me. Right, let's see. Grant says £30,000. I don't know what that is though. So So 40k. I mean, 40k, 30k. I would argue if Bitcoin goes to 40k, it might as well go to 30k because it's going to do just as much damage to the space if it does. Jake McKinnon, do you feel with Trump being pro-crypto and being so heavily linked in the Epstein files have put people off crypto? No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know the links. I don't look into the Epstein stuff too much. I hear a lot about this. Trump's linked with Epstein and he's pro-crypto, so that's going to put people off. Well, JP Morgan was genuinely the bank for Epstein. So why do people still use JP Morgan as a bank? Because everybody knows they were linked, like they paid fines and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't really understand it. I don't think that has anything to do with it, to be fair. I think hopefully in the next few weeks we get the Clarity Act and that'll help settle some of the... Because I think people are now starting to question if Trump is actually good for crypto or not. I think once we get the Clarity Act approved, that'll benefit the space. Let's see. So DJs is in. How's Vantage going? No one in the... Cool. DJs must be... Let's see DJ's channel. Let's see DJ's channel. Because he's obviously got... DJ's has obviously got some worldly advice. Will we pull up his channel? We'll watch his channel, see what advice he's handing out. Because, you know, he's obviously a guru. Because he's in here. He's got 2 videos. I'll probably not bring them up, to be fair. Yeah, I think... So Ben's bringing up a point, and this is what I've spoke about for a while. So this is... Everybody keeps saying, are we in a bear market? Are we in a bull market? For me, I don't think we're going to have these proper... The 4-year cycle being dead, I don't think we're going to have these proper bull markets, bear markets. I think we're just going to have phases of a bull market and phases of a bear market within each other. So if you look at the stock market, let's look at the NASDAQ, for example. So the NASDAQ, for example, during this period would have been considered by Wall Street as in bear market territory. Anytime a stock or an index moves 20% down from a high, it's classed as bear market. So this would have been a bear market for the NASDAQ, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, you can see obviously a clear uptrend. This in here would probably have been bear market, you know, considered almost a bear market here, 2021 to 2022, bear market. But then the rest of the time, this would be a bull run because it's up 20%. I think that's how crypto and Bitcoin is going to be moving forward, is that we're going to have bear market periods. So you could argue that from December 2024 to April 2025, this was a bear market or bear territory or bear phase. Then we had a bull run, then we had a bear phase, then we'll have another bull run. But really, for me, and I'll try and pull up the tweet. There's a guy on Twitter called Tech Dev. He posts some really good stuff. But he was talking about this for a while. That I'm just trying to find the post. Not sure if I can pull it up. But basically he was showing that we are about to start the next leg higher, and actually we needed this flush to take out this low before the next leg higher started. I don't really do Elliott waves, I don't really talk about them, but yeah, for me, I think nothing really changes. I still think 2026 is going to be a bullish year. I still see higher prices for the crypto market. I think it's just that we're going through a bit of a turbulent phase right now. And I don't think we're going to go into that 3-year bear market type phase. Let's see. Yeah, so Ben's right. We could probably call 2025 a bear market phase if you want, or a bear market. Let's just call it that. DJs, we was in a bear market from October. Cool. Well, arguably, what about this period here? Was this a bull run? Was this a bull run here? But yeah. And Panda says Swissborg $1 to $3. Nah, I think you'll see all-time highs for Swissborg this year. I think they've got a lot of things coming. They've actually got some big announcements coming at their keynote in February. I think it's the 25th of February. I need to double check the date. They've got some big plans coming this year. Some cool new products as well. Definitely going to take on more of that wealth app narrative, which will be good. Be good for TradFi as well. I think they're going to do a big push to try and get maybe non-crypto investors to use the platform for wealth preservation. DJs must be flying. Multiple 5 to 10x's. You can't spell through. He uses the wrong word through. But he bought the best coins. Only the best. DJs must have a crystal ball. Don't know why you don't start your own group. DJs, why don't you start your own group and see if people subscribe if you're... Also, questionable that you made multiple 5 to 10x's through the bull run, but you've got time in your life to tune into a live stream to spam the chat. So weird characters on the internet these days. Let's see what else is going on. I find it really strange that no one's taken credit for this dump. News just in as well, Gemini is not only just closing the UK, they're actually closing EU, Australia, and cutting 25% of jobs. So it looks like they're just going after kind of areas of the world that are regulated. Interesting. Michael Saylor tweets hold. So interesting to get the chat's thoughts on this one. So Vitalik is selling hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of ETH. I don't know. So what's that? I mean, I say hundreds of thousands. It looks like millions. But yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. Unless somebody else is going to take over the ETH Foundation, that would probably be bullish for ETH. To be fair, I don't think Vitalik does anything. We're finally getting a green candle on Bitcoin. First green candle potentially since last night at midnight. So that would be nice. Let's see if we can find some form of a bottom here at 67k. Doesn't really seem like it's a great area for support. I suppose you've got these bottoms from October 2024 before the election run. This is something we've spoke about on the channel a lot. Is this retracing the Trump move? So Bitcoin was $68,000 when Trump won the election. We have now round tripped the full time since he won the election. It's just a crazy coincidence or pattern, whatever you want to call it, but it does seem strange. At the same time, you've got coins like XRP retracing the entire 1010 wick that had left for 3 months. Cardano did the same. Solana didn't really have to do it. Dogecoin done the same. Chiliz didn't, weirdly. Polkadot still got a way to go if we are going to fill all these wicks. Uni as well. But then when we look at Total 3, you can see we're way below it. Trying to find support down here, the April 2025 low from this wick. And here on the 8th, still got a wee bit to go to fill the full wick. And Total 2 now down 938 billion, back to these levels from April as well. So maybe we find some short-term support. Doesn't look like an amazing support, but take it. If we can bounce from 66.8, retrace the entire Trump pump, happy days. No doubt we'll find out what's caused it in the next couple of days. Let's see. DJs is against robbing people. Oh, that's good. At least you've got some conscience. Let's have a look at the metals. I think metals are an interesting story just now. Gold, absolutely getting whipsawed up and down. This is a crazy move. I'm sure yesterday metals dumped like $3 trillion, down 20% in 2 days of trading for gold as well, which is just a massive move, especially given how much it's up this year. I think the banks are a big part of this. Silver, since, was this Thursday's high? Since Thursday's high is currently down 37%. I think when I look out over the next 5 years, I do think that there is going to be just a volatile period for all assets. I think the world's going to go through a period of massive change with AI, probably some foreign banks or foreign sovereign debt blowing up at some point. Japan looks like it's a prime candidate for that. So I do think metals, stocks, crypto is going to be a lot more volatile in the long term anyway. I think metals are signaling that. I think physical demand for silver is going to absolutely fly over the next 2 years. And I think the paper shorts are going to try and keep it contained. One, so that they can stay in their trades, but two, so that they can fulfill the contracts that they already have outstanding. You know, if you're JP Morgan and someone was long silver from way down here, you want them to get out in here. You don't want them to get out up here. And I think that's all that the move is telling you. Yeah, I wouldn't be buying XRP here. Yeah, I wouldn't be buying XRP. The reason I wouldn't buy XRP here is because it's still, regardless of what you think of it right here, it's still up from these kind of bottom levels. So you're up, what, 4 or 5x from here. Yeah, it's, you know, in my eyes, it'll go $7, $8, $9 over the next year. But I think there's better risk to reward in the market. For me, I think if you wanted something lower risk, I'd buy Solana. If you wanted something a wee bit higher risk with some decent returns, like maybe a 10x return, you would buy something a bit higher out on the risk curve. So it really depends what your tolerance is. Arbitrum getting absolutely crushed down at 11 cents. That's insane. And yeah, so it really depends. But yeah, I think Borg for me is a better buy than XRP where we are in the market and just price wise. I think, yeah, I wouldn't be buying XRP. Let's see. So DJs obviously believes that we are in a bear market and the next bull run won't be till 2028. So fair enough. That's his opinion. Dan Mack says, not a popular one, but I believe in Litecoin. To be fair, Litecoin, it seemed to do well off that privacy narrative that happened a few months ago. But yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say is, let me pull up. There is a few ETF applications out for Litecoin. So whatever MD says about it, it seems like there is interest in Litecoin from, I think people take solace in the fact that there's been history. So I think people like when there's a bit of history on a chart and they can look back and they can see where it's came from. I think a new one kind of freaks people out. Let me try and find this. I'll find the crypto ETFs, and we'll find out how many Litecoin ETFs there are. There's loads though, I'm sure. I'm sure there's 118 crypto ETFs to be approved this year. Yeah, I'll maybe drop it in CC Pro. I can't find the chart. Well, the ETFs, but there was, I'm sure it's 108 or 118 crypto ETFs all filed, all will come into effect this year. And Litecoin, I think, has got 3 or 4. So there is obviously some interest in Litecoin from institutions. I think Grayscale's got one. They seem to have one for all the major coins. Let's see. Yeah, I like Xborg, to be fair. DJs is obviously not up on his. He's not up on the updates on crypto, because Xborg is no longer just gaming focused. It's actually more about AI these days. They've partnered with some big companies, some big partnerships they're announcing. We're actually going to be doing a video on Xborg in the next 2 weeks, because they've got some new announcements, some new partnerships as well. But it's more about AI these days. DJs, you need to keep up, mate. You're slacking. Yeah, I think it's got loads of upside, to be fair. I think the team, one, are profitable, so they've got revenue, which very few cryptos can say. And I think one of the things I've always said for over a year now is the only cryptos that will survive the next few years are cryptos that have revenue and actually a business model. Xborg are cash flow positive. They earn money every single month, and that's why they can afford to buy back the token. I don't think they are currently buying back the token, but also if you look at, they're on dexes, they do decent volume every single day, 24-hour volume, 40k, 21k. This is all genuine organic volume as well. It's not fake centralized exchange volume like most projects. So yeah, I think long term it'll do really well. It loads the upside in it as well. It's been absolutely crucified in this downturn since back here, the end of November. But yeah, I think it will do a new all-time high. The team are pretty active. Speak to them quite a lot. I think they're making some big moves as well. I think they'll have some exciting stuff to come by the end of February. Let's see. Chainlink. Yeah, Chainlink's a great project. I think, so one of the things, I don't actually know why they don't speak about this, but one of the big things Chainlink will be used for in the coming years is they build oracles for RWAs. So in order to keep the price of the crypto token matched to like gold or Tesla stock or whatever, you need an oracle. And apparently Chainlinks are the best in the business. So yeah, I think as a business they're very profitable, and I think they'll grow in profitability as well. So yeah, I like Chainlink. I think this seems like quite a good buy zone. This grey line's been on here for forever. You can see it's been quite an important line in the past, and when we interact with it we seem to react quite well. So we're also nearly retraced this 1010 wick. So yeah, I think in and around $8, $8.50, great buy zone for Chainlink. I think it'll do really well. Plus, even if it just goes back to this peak here from December 2024, you're talking a 4x in something I would class as probably lower risk than some other stuff. Lewis Ross says, would I invest in Swissborg? So yeah, I think if you don't have any exposure to Swissborg, I think the first place would be the Borg token. Xborg is obviously a bit more risky, offshoot of Swissborg. But yeah, I think the Borg token's a great buy right now. I think we're down, where did we get down to earlier? 18 cents, yeah. You can see this trend line seems to, I mean, whether it holds beyond today. But yeah, this is a good trend line. So we're back there. I think is, yeah, a good time to buy. XX Pro, that is my Saturday night nickname for my business. Make different cash on XX Pro. That is another business altogether. Although somebody did say the music on this stream could be some XX Pro theme songs, so thanks for that one. Let's see. Let me jump into CC Pro and see what's happening. So, KH thinks we're not in a bull market. Fair enough. But he thinks he's going to wait till 2028 for another one. I think that's madness. I think that's crazy chat. Run DMC says, how would I take profits if I don't think we're going to get the 4-year cycle, which I don't. I think for me, what I'd be looking for is Bitcoin to kind of reach that euphoric stage. I don't think we've properly had it. Even up here, I don't think people were fully ecstatic. I think people are waiting on that breakout. It reminds me of, if you look at the Russell. So if you look at the Russell, we obviously peaked back here in 2021, but then we had this attempt in November 2024 with the rest of the market. Then we had this, and then it struggled and struggled and struggled. Still don't think the Russell's properly broken out yet. If we compare it to something like the NASDAQ, you can see tried to break out, got slapped back down, chop, 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 back down, and then eventually rallied and broke out. I think that is similar to what Bitcoin's trying to do, obviously on a different time scale and things. So I think when Bitcoin's in that euphoric phase, looking for altcoins running, hitting key fib levels above the 1.618, that's where I'll be trimming some profits. But yeah, it's much more challenging. I think with a 4-year cycle, it's quite easy to predict at X time I'll take profit. I think it's a bit harder these days. So yeah, that's what I would I'd be looking for. But we'll do more stuff in CC Pro about profit taking when we're taking profit. I still think 150k Bitcoin this year is easy. I think yeah, and I think you'll see altcoins going some mad runs as well. Let's see. This must be Jack Jarvis. This guy, can he be serious? DJs is out the market. He's made so much money that he's sitting watching YouTube live streams, spamming the chat. That's how much money he's made. That's how he spends his Thursday afternoons. Let's see what other questions we've got. Let's see. I'd argue I've not seen one good point from DJs in the whole hour we've been doing this, but fair enough, Bailey. Let's see what else we've got. This is the problem for some of the altcoins, like Solana just doesn't really have support. Maybe 78, you could say. Maybe it goes down to 78, 72. That'd be the only support I can kind of see. I don't disagree, Bailey, with that point. I think Xborg are being smart. I think their model lends itself to both AI and gaming. I still think there will be a gaming push. I think Web3 gaming makes total sense. If you look at what's happening across even crypto in general, the ownership narrative is now that crypto tokens should be tied to ownership of the underlying business. Well, that kind of goes into Web3 gaming as well. If you think about Web3 gaming, the whole premise of it, the whole promise of Web3 gaming was ownership. So if you buy something in the game, you own it, you can sell it, you can trade it. I think that's still quite attractive. I think actually in the AI world that makes that more attractive, because in an AI world people will have a lot more free time, they probably will game a lot more, and they want to earn, they want to play to earn, they want to earn from the stuff they spend. So yeah, I still think Web3 gaming will be a thing. I think it'll take off. I think it's just not been something that's done well. I also think it's hard because you're competing with massive incumbents. So you're going up against like the giants like Microsoft and Sony. Like, none of these games are going to have the budget. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens if GTA 6 ever comes out. Does it have some form of crypto in it? Does it have some tradability, some marketplace in it? If it does, then that would be a bit of a game changer for the space. But yeah, I think crypto gaming still, or Web3 gaming still makes sense. Somebody asked me about Jupiter the other night. I think Jupiter's a great project. Looks really cheap here, but you could say that about every single coin in the market right now. Yeah, but you could say that about pretty much 99% of the market. That's not a reflection on the space or the project. You look at Xborg. So Xborg are literally cash flow positive. They literally have a really solid underlying business, and they have some decent user numbers. They're still down like 90% because the space is down massively. You look at the others chart. Like, it doesn't matter how good your project is. If the market's crashing like this, like what are we down? We're down 284 billion. So we're actually down more than the market's worth in the other space right now. So, yeah, like the market has no kind of, doesn't take any prisoners when it dumps. So I also think projects need to find a way of tying, like I said, like the Xborg token, if it was tied to the underlying business, and by holding the token, you naturally got some form of kickback every month, then I think people would be more likely to buy and hold. Like I kind of, what I've said before about the Borg token, if you got paid in USDC rather than Borg tokens every month from their buybacks, I think people would hold and buy more. Also, I think the tiers doesn't help. I think there should be no tiers on any project. I think just you earn a percentage based on how big a holder you are. Because the minute you introduce tiers, then it makes no sense to hold beyond a certain amount. So like for the Borg token, I think if you hold over 100,000 tokens, you're in the top tier. So there is real no incentive to buy and hold more. Whereas actually if you hold 100,000, but you'll get double the rewards if you hold 200,000, then somebody might go out and buy 200,000. I think tiers just wreck the incentive, if I'm brutally honest. Interestingly, Bitcoin dominance is starting to come down. Normally when we see massive sell-offs, dominance shoots higher. So this is actually not a terrible sign. But yeah, we even this kind of bounce doesn't seem to be lasting. Looks like we're going to go a little bit lower. I also think, like I've said this time and time again, I think at this stage in the, you know, in the market, when nothing, you know, you could literally pick 10 coins max that have performed over the last 3 years. So I think the time to kind of judge projects or be critical is when the market is flying, when we are seeing all-time highs for coins, or we're seeing the total 2 or total 3 break out. I think if the coin's then not performing, not doing anything, then that's kind of more the time. But like even top market cap coins, like, you know, Polkadot massively underperformed since the last bull run. So there's no getting away from it. There's no recipe that, oh, if I'd bought this, I would have made 10x. Like, it's not as simple as that. And you can see that in the market. Like even VeChain, I think VeChain was highlighted on a few podcasts in 2022 as being one of the potential big runners of this bull run so far. Yeah, we've got a little pop here, but realistically it's down and to the right. Polkadot has a marketing campaign on loads of big podcasts as being the AWS of crypto. Well, it's failed to break this level twice. Again, underperformed. So it doesn't really matter if you go for risky or you go for safe. If you weren't in XRP to some extent, Solana, BNB, Zcash, maybe Hyper, there's a lot. Most coins haven't performed. Like even SWI, like since here, it's pretty much dumped. So alright, that is all for today. Thought I'd jump on, try and calm some nerves down, have a bit of fun with DJs. Hopefully DJs tunes in again. Seems like my number one fan, to be fair. Maybe if MD's looking for cash, he's absolutely minted, so get a wee loan off him. But until next time, hopefully everybody settles down a little bit. Unfortunately, it is the market we live in, but it's just as volatile once we break out as well, which we've seen time and time again. We've been through this. This isn't new. Just need to stick it through. And yeah, I'll be back later in this week. Dropped a video today on Kevin Warsh. Everybody's saying he's a hawk. He's bearish for crypto. I would argue he's going to change some rules to untap $3 trillion worth of liquidity. So make sure to check it out. And you'll catch me in CC Pro in the next couple of hours. Alright, take it easy. See you soon.